Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hello, Laureen. Welcome. Thanks for already commenting. Laureen has been to a couple of the workshops. She knows that I'm going to ask you to say hello and where you're listening in from. Post it in the chat. You should see a chat somewhere on your screen or below this video. And say hi. Tell me where you're from. Helps me to know that you can hear me and everything's working properly. Also, I'm just curious who's on and where you are from. Judy. Hey, Judy. Hey, I'm glad you made it. Yes. Remember you said, I saw you in the office today and you said it was 6 o'clock. I had to double check and make sure it was 7 because I thought maybe I accidentally scheduled it at the wrong time. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Glad everybody is here. And as you're coming in, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off. Okay, you can see and hear me. Thank you, Laureen. Appreciate that. I'm going to get started because I added a few. Cindy and Larry, of course. Good to see you again. And Candace, glad that you're on as well. Hope you're doing well over there in Atlanta. And I'm going to share my slides. We're going to get started on digestive problems here. I've added some extra slides you've never seen before to this presentation. For those of you who have even seen and heard me to talk about digestive issues before. And I think you're going to like it. So some of you who are always on here, you're also going to see the slides that I keep and continue every month in here because I think they're so important. But once we get through my initial slides, the first 5, 6 that you might have seen before, we're going to talk about acid reflux. We're going to talk about irritable bowel syndrome. We're going to talk about constipation. These are the big 3 when it comes to digestive problems. Don't worry if you don't see your favorite symptom of digestive issues on here. Everything that we talk about tonight will help with improving your digestive problems. Oh, no problem, Judy. No problem at all. Roger, thanks for being here. Patricia, thanks for being on. Awesome. So glad everybody's here. Makes my day. Okay. So acid reflux, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, that's coming up. Let's start off with this. There's a reason why we call these workshops the body signals program, because body signals are messages from your body. They're symptoms, but they're your body trying to tell you that there's a problem. So the symptom is not the problem. The body is telling you that there's a problem by creating a symptom, right? So we have to go deeper in order to figure out what the actual cause is. It's like this glacier here. If we can only see the top of the glacier, then if we cut the top of the glacier off, what happens? It just comes right back because the problem's so much deeper. So when we just take a medication to cover up a symptom, it really doesn't get to the root cause of the problem. It really doesn't help like it should. So I always show this wellness continuum because it reminds me that I need to always be striving to improve my health. That I'm never going to be just staying over there on the right side of this wellness continuum, this high level wellness. In fact, we're always kind of creeping and moving towards the left, towards the signs, towards the symptoms, towards the disability, if we're not actively doing something to keep us on the right side of this spectrum. So the things that we cover tonight, as you implement them, it will help you to inch closer and closer to the right, to awareness. You're aware of what you can do on a daily basis, simple things that you can start adding. You're educated and you're helping others to become educated. You're growing in health, and then you're moving and staying in that wellness side. And that the longer you're doing things that are healthier for you, the less symptoms that you will have. Doesn't mean things will be perfect, but it means that we'll have less symptoms because our body will be getting to the root causes of the problems and our body will be functioning better. So speaking of function, there are 3 types of nerves in your body. We're going to be talking about the nervous system a little bit here too. And there are motor nerves, there are sensory nerves, and there are autonomic nerves. The autonomic nerves are what we're really going to be talking about tonight because that's called the automatic part of the nervous system. Autonomic, automatic. That means you don't have to think about your stomach digesting your food, right? You don't have to think about all the nutrition that's assimilated into your bloodstream and taken to all the cells in your body. This stuff happens automatically through your autonomic nervous system. Now, your sensory nerves, that's pretty easy to understand. It's sensory. It's like if I, drop a bowling ball on my toe, that's going to hurt like crazy because it's affecting the sensory nerves in my foot and it's sending messages to my brain. Motor nerves are the part of the nervous system that allows me to move. Like you would think a motor will drive a car, cause a car to move. It allows me to move my muscles. So there's motor nerves, there's sensory nerves, and then there's autonomic nerves in through the body. Okay, a dangerous belief is that drugs work. In fact, what I want you to think is that drugs just help you get through a symptom. They don't really get to the root cause of the problem in the vast majority of the cases. Okay, so I always say, what's your objective? If your objective is just make it through because you have this pounding headache, then yeah, we take a medication. It helps us get through. But did we have the headache because we were deficient in Tylenol? No. So I don't think that the Tylenol is the cure for the headache. It makes sense, right? But if our objective is just to get through, then yes, we have to take the medication while we're building health in our body and allowing us to not have to take that medication and be allowing us to calm the symptoms by correcting the cause. Hope that makes sense. I always use this funny commercial. Of course, I don't think it's being used anymore, but I remember this back a decade ago when Larry the Cable Guy was doing a commercial for Prilosec OTC. Now, this is a acid reflux medication. So if all you're doing is taking a medication because you want to eat corn dogs and chili dogs and all these types of things, then this might not be the perfect webinar for you, right? Now, if you're taking these medications all the time, then you're going to have these side effects that start to pop up. One of the side effects here, a list of the side effects of Prilosec OCT, which was like played on this commercial. They had to have 2 minutes for the commercial and a minute for all of the side effects to list out, was headaches, abdominal pain, irregular heartbeat, persistent muscle spasm, seizures, diarrhea, abdominal stomach pain, cramping, fever, blood mucus in your stool, rash, itching, severe dizziness, trouble breathing. My goodness, I think I'll just take the acid reflux, right? We don't want to be covering up the problem with a medication all the time, but we also don't want to just ignore our problems. So what do, right? Because problems normally just don't go away if we ignore them. We want to be able to address the causes of the problem, and ultimately the cause is stress. We're going to dive into that a little bit deeper. And so you really understand how stress affects your digestive system, what stress really is when it comes to the body. We'll talk about that in just a second. I want you to understand the premises of health. I want you to understand when we start thinking this way, I'm going to go through these 5, and then I promise you we'll dive into the digestive issue content here. But I really want you to understand that healthy is normal. All right. It may not be common anymore in our society, but it's normal. You were born to be healthy. Your body was designed to express health. And a lot of times there's an interference that's keeping it from expressing what it was designed to express, which is health. I want you to realize healthy is normal, that your body is intelligent. Yes, it may have a symptom, but that's because it is intelligent, that it's trying to tell you something. That symptom's trying to lead us to the cause, right? I want you to understand that the nervous system is your master system of the body. So your nervous system is number 1. It controls everything, including your digestive system, your endocrine system, your cardiovascular system. All the other systems are controlled by the nervous system. And the reason why the spine is so important, the reason why we'll talk about the spine too in this workshop, is because the spine is your suit of armor. It's surrounding the nervous system, protecting it. And so when that spine, if the good Lord would have made our spine like one bone, one solid tube, it probably would have protected the spinal cord a little bit better, but he didn't. He created it with joints inside. So you have 24 movable segments in your spine so that we can move. Just like a knight in shining armor, right? Where's the weakest part of the armor? Where could the sword slide through the armor? In the joints. So that becomes the weakest part of our spine as well, is in the joints, in the discs. And when the spine gets out of alignment, when it starts to become damaged, it can irritate the master system of the body, and that can affect the function of your body. Just want you to understand this before we dive into some of the details about our digestive system. The last thing is, look, I don't think anybody's going to argue with me. We just live in an unnaturally stressful environment in today's day and age. Modern life, it's just naturally it's unnaturally stressful. And so we have to do something more to take care of our health than our ancestors did, right? We have to actually take action. I commend every single one of you. I'm speaking to the choir now. You're here, you're learning, you're taking action. Now, these are the new slides that I put in, and we're going to dive into this, and it's a little bit confusing, so I want you to lean into this slide. This is why digestive issues are not just a simple fix, okay? A lot of people are struggling with digestive issues for years, for decades, because there's so much that goes into your digestive system. Now, this was a Paul Hardy, MD. He actually drew this diagram, and I think it speaks volumes into why the correcting the digestive system, the gut-brain quadrangle. They call it the gut-brain because the gut and the brain are so connected. It starts with stresses. Remember, I told you it's all caused from stress: physical, chemical, mental, emotional. Those are the three different types of stresses that affect our nervous system, our GI system, our detoxification system, and our immune system. So it can be from malnutrition, which a lot of times in our society, we don't have the right nutrition. We're not eating the right nutrition. And it can be from inflammation. But all of this stress affects the nervous system, the GI system, the detoxification system, the immune system, and it causes different symptoms, all right? Different diseases, different presentations. Now, it can start with a genetic predisposition, right? So there literally are people who genetically, you don't detoxify as well as the average person. There can also be chronic environmental stressors like those chemicals and physical stresses, those types of things. So these issues affect our microbiome. Now, in your gut, you should have good bacteria. You've heard of this before. You should have a lot of good bacteria. We're actually going to go into the numbers here in just a second. But these types of issues, like a C-section, did you know like a baby gets his or her initial good bacteria from going through the vaginal canal, and that bacteria becomes the baby's flora. When we have a C-section, they skip that. So they're not getting, the only bacteria they're getting is stuff, if there's maybe some bacteria on the doctor's gloves or something like that, right? They're not getting it from the mom. A lot of kids are having to go round after round of antibiotics. Antibiotics will wipe out everything, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So now we have this flora, they call it the body, the natural flora in the stomach and in the gut is off. There's not a balance there. Drugs, poor diet, chronic stress, alcohol, the altered vagal tone. So we're going to talk about the vagus nerve here in just a second. The vagus nerve is the rest and digest, the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. Again, don't worry, we're going to go through this in just a second. I'm going to dive in. But these issues, these problems, these stresses can cause what we term as leaky gut, okay? I'll show you a diagram of what leaky gut is in just a second. But leaky gut allows proteins to get through your digestive system into your bloodstream. This can cause autoimmune reactions, it can cause hypersensitivities, it can cause allergies, it can cause brain inflammation, and a lot of other things. So it can eventually, if you get brain inflammation, okay, the gut inflammation causes leaky gut. Brain inflammation causes leaky brain, which is another issue and can cause a lot of problems as well. We do a mental health workshop, and a lot of it stems from starting with the gut and then affecting the brain. So what is leaky gut? Well, if you look closely at this diagram, on the left side where you see those cells with the little fingers up on the top of them, on the left side, that's how your gut should be. Those are normal, tight junctions. Above, you're seeing all these triggers causing intestinal damage, like poor diet, antibiotics, infection, alcohol, toxins, stresses, right? When you eat your food, those little fingers will help grab the food and then keep the big proteins from getting into your bloodstream. Only want the real small protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and allow them into your bloodstream. That's literally how you become you. A lot of people hear that old saying, you are what you eat. Well, you're not necessarily what you eat. You are what you assimilate into your bloodstream. So your digestive system is just a tube with two holes, the mouth, right, and the other side. And so in order for that food to get into your body, it has to assimilate through the lining of your gut. On the right side of the screen, that's leaky gut, where those cells inside your gut get inflamed and they become gapped. And these big gaps allow large food particles and proteins to get into your bloodstream. Not good, because your body's immune system sees those big proteins that are getting into your bloodstream and attacks them. And this can cause a lot of issues like autoimmune problems. All right. So the leaky gut that we just learned about then can cause inflammation in other areas of your body. Your immune system's not functioning properly. This can cause brain inflammation, and eventually we can get leaky brain, which is the same thing, but with the blood-brain barrier. The cells of the blood-brain barrier swell and get inflammation and big gaps, and they allow too many proteins to get into the brain. So signs you might have some leaky gut or leaky brain. Let's say leaky gut here: bloating, gas, cramps, food allergies, sensitivities, IBD, IBS, hormonal issues, thyroid problems, skin conditions, inflammatory acne. Leaky brain, we might have chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, brain fog, mood issues, anxiety, depression, ADHD, neurodevelopmental issues, autoimmune diseases. This is why we add this to our mental health workshop, because this can cause a lot of things like depression or anxiety or you know mental health issues. Now, here's some foods that cause leaky gut: gluten, most grains. Grains are really not good for you. Sugar, artificial sweeteners, conventional meats, conventional dairy, refined vegetable oils, GMO foods, tap water, pesticides, over-the-counter medications like NSAIDs, antibiotics, skin, hair, even prescription medications, skin, hair, cleaning products. Foods that help with leaky gut. If you have leaky gut and you want to improve it, bone broth is such a good one. It's best to make your own, but you can even buy bone broth at the stores. Raw cultured organic dairy, fermented vegetables, coconut products. Coconut oil is great. Put coconut oil in your smoothie or something like that. Sprouted seeds like flax, chia, hemp, organic grass-fed beef and lamb, wild caught salmon. Those things are good for your gut, can decrease inflammation. Did you know your gut should contain 100 trillion bacteria? So you have more bacterial cells in your body than you do human cells, because you only have about 70 trillion human cells. You should have 100 trillion bacterial cells. And listen to this: they should be 500 to 1,000 different species of bacteria in your gut. This is why you can't just take a probiotic and fix everything. Look on the back of your probiotic. Nothing wrong with probiotics, like acidophilus, different types of probiotics. Those are great. But I've been reading the labels on these probiotics, and the biggest one I've seen has maybe 10, 15 different strands of bacteria in there. There should be 500 to 1,000 different species of bacteria inside of your gut. So 90% of your body's serotonin is made in the gut. That's why when you have a gut problem, it affects your mood. 70% of your immune cells are in your digestive system. So people with leaky gut can have immune issues and problems. So there's a literal connection, the autonomic nervous system. This is where we're going to start understanding how your nervous system plays a role. And then trust me, I'm going to give you a list of different things that you can actually implement that will help you with gut health. But I want to introduce this concept of the vagus nerve, parasympathetic versus sympathetic nervous system. So in your nervous system, when I say nervous system, by the way, let me define that. Nervous system is your brain, your spinal cord, and all the nerves in your body. That is your nervous system. Now, there's two parts to the nervous system. There's fight or flight, and there's rest and digest. The rest and digest part of your nervous system is majority of it is controlled by the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve starts in the neck and it goes down. Here it is. It starts in your neck, just like this image shows, and it goes all the way down to innervating the heart, the lungs, all the organs, digestive system, and it's responsible for when you're calm, When you're relaxed, it's why we call it rest and digest, because your body is in a calm, relaxed state and it can heal. This part of the nervous system controls healing, or rest and digest at least. Here it is. This separates the two right here. So on the left side, you're seeing resting, digesting, repair, and development. That's the parasympathetic part of your nervous system. On the right side, you see fight or flight and freeze. You're either going to fight, your flight, or you're going to freeze. That's the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic is for growth and healing and potential. The sympathetic is for survival. I'm not going to go through all the list of everything that is done, that parasympathetic controls and sympathetic, but the key is you've got to have balance in this part of your nervous system, the autonomic. Remember I said we're going to talk about the autonomic part, the automatic part of your nervous system tonight. You've got to have balance in parasympathetic and sympathetic parts of the nervous system, or your digestion never can function properly. Dr. John F. Chiron, PhD, he says stress alters this gut-brain axis, and it affects our digestive system. Lorraine says, book recommendations, Activate Your Vagus Nerve by Dr. Nawaz Habib. Oh, very nice, Lorraine. Thank you. That's very cool. Yes, we want to activate the vagus nerve because we want to activate parasympathetic. So good call. Now, because stress activates our sympathetic, which is not your vagus nerve. All right. It's the opposite. Now, don't get me wrong. Sympathetic's important. We have to have it. It helps us like get away from the tiger, so to speak. Like back in the day when we were hunters and gatherers, if a tiger jumped out, we have to have the sympathetic part of our nervous system to fight that tiger or to run from that tiger, and like it's important. But today's day and age, we're fighting tigers all day long. We're running from tigers all day long and night long. I mean, we're stressed all the time, so we're constantly stuck in this sympathetic fight or flight. Okay, several animal studies have found that the vagus nerve mediates the relationship between psychobiotics and the psychophysiological effects, as serving the vagus nerve abolishes. Okay, so what they did is they took studies in animals where they cut the vagus nerve, and they saw the brain doesn't function as well as it should either, because that's how the digestive system connects and functions and communicates with the brain. All right, so signs you might have an autonomic imbalance. If you have low parasympathetic, right? So your vagus nerve is low. We're looking at constipation, depression, hormonal issues, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, thyroid problems, adrenal fatigue, immune compromised, brain fog, mood issues, memory loss, autoimmune diseases. If you're high sympathetic, like you're fight or flight all the time, diarrhea, IBS, poor sleep, insomnia, irritability, anxiety, excessive sweating, manic focused ADHD, neurodevelopment disorders. So we don't want to be stuck on that sympathetic all the time, right? There are a list of other studies I'm not even going to go through. You could screen capture this, or you're going to get the replay of this so you can see these studies if you're somebody who really likes to look these up. But these talk about autonomic dysfunction. A lot of different studies that I could pull up that I just wanted you to see that this is not something that we're making up here. This is something that is researched. People are trying to activate the parasympathetic more, but we're just stuck in the sympathetic nervous system, this fight or flight all the time. So let me give you 10 ways that you could activate vagal tone. So you could stimulate your parasympathetic, which is getting into what we call rest and digest and heal. Number one, positive social relationships. This really does activate your rest and digest. When you like go have coffee with a friend, when you get to sit down and enjoy your family, when it's not so stressed, right? Not like you have to make Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. That might be more sympathetic. But positive social relationships encourage rest and digest. Cold, people, this is one benefit of the cold plunge. When people jump into that ice bath, right, and they get out, that eventually stimulates the balance between your parasympathetic and your sympathetic by firing those things. Gargling, literally just gargling, has been shown to, because it's so close to that vagus nerve, which originates in the top of the neck. Gargling actually stimulates the vagus nerve. Singing, chanting, humming. This is why people will get into a parasympathetic state by doing meditation, and you'll hear them kind of hum sometimes. That humming actually stimulates your rest and digest, stimulates your vagus nerve. Massage, I'm telling you, I like massages for, getting the blood flow going and massaging a muscle and getting a muscle, I'm sure that's therapeutic as well. But I'm telling you, massages are just stress relieving, and you relax, you get into rest and digest, you stimulate the parasympathetic, and it's just great for stimulating vagal tone as well. Laughter actually stimulates your vagal tone, your vagus nerve. Yoga, Tai Chi, those are great exercises to do to stimulate vagus nerve. Breathing deeply and slowly. Again, with meditation, sometimes people will just relax. Meditation gets a bad connotation. All it is just silencing your mind for a second, focusing on your breath, allowing your body to get out of the fight or flight and into the rest and digest. That's why it's so helpful. Just stop for a second, right? And relax. Exercise is good for vagal stimulation as well. Any kind of exercise is good for you. And chiropractic adjustments, especially cervical adjustments, can stimulate vagal tone and vagus nerve. This is a study right here that says chiropractic stimulates the vagus nerve, and they did it by measuring heart rate variability, which has been connected with parasympathetic. The decreased heart rate and increased total power from the HRV, heart rate variability analysis, indicated a healthy autonomic nervous system balance after correction of vertebral subluxation. So that's what we correct with the adjustment. After you get adjusted, through HRV analysis, they indicated a healthy autonomic nervous system. What is subluxation? Joint misalignment, soft tissue damage, inflammation around the nerve, muscle spasms, loss of imbibition, so you're not moving, not pumping that disc anymore, joint fixation. That elevates your stress hormone, so we don't want subluxation. That's why patients come in the office, they get checked for subluxation, we adjust subluxations. Again, stress hormones create an adaptive physiology. This is why your nervous system is so powerful for affecting digestion or anything else, is it supplies everything. It's like the breaker switches of your body is in your spine. All right, so I'm going to talk about chiropractic, of course, because it's vital for getting that nervous system balanced, getting you into the autonomic balance, parasympathetic versus sympathetic, stimulating your vagus nerve, and getting digestive going. But let me give you some other tips and strategies you can implement tonight, maybe this week for sure. Strategies that will help improve digestion. Chewing your food, at least 30 and up to 100 chews per bite. This is the actual beginning process of your digestive tract, and the better chewed your food is, the easier it is for your stomach to digest it. So when you're eating in a hurry, you're not chewing, it's not good for your digestive system. One pot meals. You're going to hear me mention this a couple times, but if you actually really have a lot of problems with digestion, and you can go back to saying, like, I'm only going to eat this one thing, and maybe it's a different thing every meal, but it's only one thing. Like, you're only eating, and even if it's meat, like I'm only eating a steak for lunch, or a chicken breast, or if it's just broccoli, or if it's just salad or something like that, but not mixing it can help your body kind of get over digestive problems when your body doesn't have to digest all these different types of things. And again, I think this is for people who really do have some digestive issues. Get back to doing just one thing, eating one thing, not eating like 3 or 4 like we're used to. We have different areas of our plate, we fill them with all different types of foods. If you get back to just eating one thing per meal, it's actually easier on your digestive tract. Try fasting. Oh my goodness, this is so good for your digestive system. Just giving it a break for a while, right? Do a bone broth fast, because we know bone broth is great for the lining of the intestinal lining, right? The tract, to decrease inflammation. It's just soothing for it. So just drinking bone broth, and bone broth is so delicious when it's warmed up and you're just sipping it. So good. Very smooth, cleansing. And it's a great way to do a fast, is just do a bone broth fast. Fermented foods, great because they have the bacteria that we need to balance our flora in our stomach. So fermented foods like sauerkraut, raw fermented pickles, fermented beets, ginger, miso, apple cider vinegar is great for that too. It helps raise stomach acid. Kombucha, I used to love drinking that stuff. I haven't had that in a while. You give me some kombucha. It's a fermented drink. It's really, really good. Blueberries are very good for your digestion. They have antioxidants, pectin, which is fiber, as well, resveratrol, so antioxidants. Um, Blueberries are to the gut what cranberries are to the urinary tract. So you know how people get like a urinary infection and they would just start pounding cranberry juice because it helps. Well, if you have digestive issues, start pounding blueberries because it helps, just like cranberries would for your urinary tract. Peppermint essential oil, right? Just put a couple drops in your smoothie, put drop in your toothpaste and mix your toothpaste up. However you can get a little bit of peppermint essential oil into your body. I don't think I would just I would you have to like dilute it. Okay, don't just drop peppermint oil essential oil in your mouth or something. That would probably burn. Essential oils are pretty intense, so but put it in some of your food or smoothie. That's a great way to do it. Lemon water is great. If you have digestive issues, it helps with fat digestion, helps increase the acidity a little bit in your stomach so it digests fat better. I know you're like, don't increase the acidity in your stomach, but actually lemon water helps you if you have acid reflux and stuff. Drinking lemon water will help take that away. Trust me, try it. Ginger, nausea, morning sickness, calm upper digestive issues. Tea, you could have ginger tea. You could eat it grated. You can make chicken ginger soup. Those things are really good for your digestive system. Get a trampoline or a rebounder and do it for just 10 minutes twice a day. So that jumping helps to move food through your body. It's great for exercise too, great for your lymph system, but really good for that digestive system. Eat avocado and fish as much as you can. Literally, you cannot eat too much avocado and too much fish. This is long chain fatty acids. They don't get completely broken down by the stomach, so a lot of it gets into the intestines. It helps soothe the omega-3 from the fish, the good fats from the avocado, helps soothe your intestines and push things out. Increase your fibers like fruit and green leafy veggies. And then water. You gotta have water. Fiber is good. You gotta increase the fiber, but without hydration, it could just make your digestion worse. If all you have is fiber and no water, then you're really gonna get stuffed up. So make sure you're drinking a lot of water and increasing your hydration. And then when you eat fiber, it actually works. Probiotics, like I said, probiotics are good. Make sure you get as many different strains of bacteria as possible. So when you're looking for a probiotic, look on there and look at all those weird words, lactobacillus, acidophilus. I mean, it just keeps going, all these funky words that you can't even say. Those are different strands of bacteria. If you could find a probiotic with 20 different strands, that's great. If you could find a probiotic with more than that, that's super great. I don't think I've ever heard of a probiotic that has more than 20 different strains though, but those are great. Exercise. My mentor, Dr. Stephen Franson, he always said you should only exercise on days that you eat. So basically every day, right? 30 minutes a day, exercise every day. Yoga, strength training, walks in the sun, spinal hygiene exercises. I know all of you are already doing your spinal hygiene exercises, so I don't even have to go there, right? And then your emotional health is important as well, because we know there's a gut-brain connection. So be positive. Try to do things that put you in a good mood. Stay away from the things that upset you or make you in a bad mood, because your emotional health does affect your digestive health and vice versa. If it's more advanced, like say you're trying to really get through some of these issues with the gut, keeping a detailed food journal could help. And if you do keep a detailed food journal, bring it in. Let me look at it. Let me help you. And we can kind of start to notice what food you eat. Get back to that one pot meal, right? Eating that one thing for each meal. And then we can kind of track and see what causes issues and what doesn't. So mono meals, right? One pot meals are mono meals. Consume one food at a time. Track it in your journal. How did you feel? How did your digestion do when you just ate that one meal? There's no single food or single diet that heals your body. Your body heals your body, but we have to support it with good things, right? Okay, so let's jump into what we're here to talk about, the big three of digestive problems. First, let's talk about chronic constipation. Now, when someone comes in, if they have chronic constipation, we're really going to focus on these three areas. Number one, C1 to C3, the upper part of the neck. Why? That's where the vagus nerve originates. So we need to make sure we're checking and adjusting the upper part of the neck to stimulate that vagus nerve. And then in the lower part of the spine is important too. L1, that's the lumbar, L1 and L2, L5 and S1, that's a very, very lowest part of your spine, because those nerves are going to innervate the large intestines, the very last part that the food has to make it through before it comes out of the body, right? So that makes sense. Upper neck, vagus nerve, lower spine, the large intestines. When we're talking about irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, celiac, these types of inflammatory bowel conditions, we really need to start working on our gut wall, the health of our gut wall. And again, this is not an easy thing to do. This is difficult. It takes some time. Some of those things we covered tonight will help you, and the more you do them, the healthier that gut wall can get. But we need normal tight junctions. Like we looked at this diagram a while back. On the left, that's good, healthy, tight junctions in our gut wall. Inflammation causes those big gaps and allows those big proteins to get through, and that's going to affect our health, and it's going to be it's just not good, right? So we want to calm that inflammation down. In fact, if I could teach you how to speak body, it would be inflammation. Okay, even someone who comes in with back pain, let's say they have a disc herniation. If it wasn't for the inflammation, they probably wouldn't even feel that disc herniation. So when you start to have symptoms, you start to have pain, I want you to think, my body has inflammation. When the pain goes down, doesn't mean you need to stop doing healthy stuff, doesn't mean you need to stop getting adjusted, but I like it when the inflammation goes down because I can actually adjust you properly because you're not all in pain all the time. So when the inflammation goes down, when you're not in pain, you don't have the symptoms, your inflammation is lower. When you have the pain and the symptoms, your inflammation is higher. And we're going to try to regulate that. And the more healthy things we do helps us to get that inflammation down, which helps us to get out of the pain. So do's and don'ts: do eat non-starchy vegetables. That means like not potatoes or, uh, you know, um, bananas, things that have a lot of sugar in them. But vegetables like green leafy vegetables are really good for you. Some fruit, it's okay to eat some fruit. Meat, poultry, fish, but make sure they're organic, free range, range fed eggs, right? Natural fats, some nuts and seeds, and drink water. Don't eat the refined carbohydrates, the sugars, the cereals, the sweeteners, the bad vegetable oils, legumes, dairy products, soda, juice, and alcohol. We want to stay away from. All right, with somebody who has irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, and celiac, of course, we're checking C1 still because vagus nerve is so important. So we got to get that upper part of the neck. But we're also going mid-back, T7 to T1. Why? Because the mid-back is what's going to control the stomach and the small intestines, and that's where we're going to see a lot of the inflammation that's coming from, that's causing the inflammation in through the bowels. Acid reflux and heartburn. This one, again, is a big one. We're going to check that upper back because T4, T6 goes right to the stomach and also to the diaphragm and the sphincter muscles that can allow more acid to come up into the esophagus. All right, so what causes these subluxations? Well, I mean, stress causes these subluxations, traumas, toxins, uh, you know, uh, emotional issues, bad habits. We're seeing in today's day and age just a lot of micro trauma from poor posture that's causing a lot of subluxation, especially in the neck. Right, one of the most biggest reasons we see subluxation and degeneration in the neck is because we're on cell phones and screen times all the time, and it's causing alignment issues, and it's affecting the vagus nerve. Where does the vagus nerve come from? Upper part of the neck. So lay on your spinal molding rolls, do your spinal hygiene exercises, and get adjusted so that we can improve the health of the neck, improve the function of that vagus nerve, and then stimulate the parasympathetic, and then get your parasympathetic helping with your rest and digest. And that over time can help your body to heal. All right. So how do you know if you have subluxation? Come in the office, and I'm actually going to share a little bit of a, let's see here. Oh, I don't have it. Well, join our community, and then I'll share our website in there. But our website is betterwaychiropractic.com, and you can schedule an appointment on there if you want to come in. We do 5 objective criteria that we look for subluxation. So instrumentation, we use the posture screen mobile to check your posture. Motion palpation, static palpations done so we can see how your spine is moving, what alignment it is in. We can actually feel that. Visualization, so range of motion findings, and then also x-ray, and that helps us to understand the alignment of the spine and the health of the spine. And then what I tell people is these 3 things will help you get the best results, especially in our office, but really when you're taking care of your spine and nervous system. Make your adjustments in rhythm, meaning no missed visits. Make sure that um, you keep those appointments. Like if you're on a weekly appointment, keep those appointments every week. Your body heals with rhythm. If you're just going to a chiropractor every once in a while, just getting an adjustment, a month, and then you go 2 months, and then you go a week, and then you go 3 months. Like that's so random. Your body's not getting in that rhythm. It is not going to heal as well as if you are consistent and rhythmic with your adjustments. Same thing with exercises, same thing with diet, same thing with everything. Your body does better in rhythm. And then break those bad habits, trying to get off that cell phone, hold it up. Make sure that we're not in poor postures all day. If you're having to sit in front of a computer, make sure you're getting up every 30 minutes and going through your postural, your spinal hygiene exercise, range of motion. And that's the third thing too. Make sure you're doing those spinal hygiene exercises. They will help you maintain alignment, mobility, and strength of your spine between your chiropractic visits. Lay on those spinal molding rolls at night. You're stimulating parasympathetic by laying on your spinal molding roll in the neck and the lower back. And it will help you sleep better, and it will help stimulate digestion when you lay on the spinal molding rolls. All right. I know you can do this. The most dangerous belief out there is that nothing can be done. This can improve. I understand digestive issues are not an easy fix. People struggle with this. It's hard. I get it. But if you're implementing these things, you're understanding your body's smart. It's intelligent. It can heal. If we just give it what it needs, remove the interference, then it can improve, right? That's the goal. We want everybody to improve. Thank you so much for being on the class tonight. I hope it was helpful. I hope you got some good stuff to take away there. I am always here. If you have any questions, if you need anything, I'm a phone call away, or just come on in the office. Our website is a betterwaychiropractic.com. You can check out our movie there. You can join our community. We have a Facebook community where you can post questions. Maybe other people have some different types of issues, and you can tell even from our chat, there are people who can help give tips and strategies. Maybe they've been where you are. So join our community today. Just click the join button, and then I will add you once I see that. So give us a call to schedule an appointment or a consultation. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you have a great night, and I look forward to our next workshop. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being on. Thanks, Danielle.